You are 20 years old, stacking crates of canned peaches in your uncle's grocery store in Fresno, California, when the radio behind the counter stops playing music. December 7th, 1941. A man's voice says the words Pearl Harbor before you've even set the crate down. Your uncle turns the volume up. Customers stop moving through the aisles. Nobody in the store says anything for almost a full minute. Then an old man near the door says quietly, "Well, that's that." As if a decision had already been made somewhere far away, and all that's left now is finding out what it costs. Your name is Thomas Hale. Everyone calls you Tom. You have a mother who works nights at a cannery, a father who died of a bad heart 3 years earlier, and a girl named Dorothy who you've been walking home from church with since you were 16. Nothing about your life has ever asked to be interesting. You like it that way. You want to marry Dorothy, take over your uncle's store eventually, maybe expand it. Small plans, honest plans. You enlist in January, not because you're told to, but because staying home starts to feel like a kind of lie. Dorothy doesn't cry when you tell her. She just goes quiet in a way that scares you more than crying would. She gives you a small sewing kit before you leave, wrapped in brown paper. "So you can fix things," she says. "Come back and fix the porch step too. It's been loose for years." You laugh because it's easier than the alternative. Boot camp is at Camp Pendleton. The instructors are Marines who've already fought somewhere, though none of them talk about where. They teach you to march, to strip a rifle blind, to low crawl under wire while live rounds snap overhead. You learn to read a compass in darkness, to move through brush without snapping a branch. You learn that fear doesn't go away with training. Training just teaches your body to keep moving while the fear is still there. The days blur into a single repeating shape. Wake before light. Run until your lungs burn. Drill until your shoulders ache from the weight of a rifle that never seems to get lighter. Some recruits wash out within the first 2 weeks, sent home quietly. Their bunks stripped bare by morning as if they'd never been assigned at all. You meet Danny Kowalski from Pittsburgh, a wiry kid with a laugh too big for his frame. He keeps a steel harmonica wrapped in a sock inside his pack. He plays badly and doesn't care. "Music doesn't have to be good," he tells you one night. "It just has to remind you you're still a person." You meet Corporal Ray Whitfield, older, quiet, a man bracing for the real thing. Whitfield doesn't yell like the other instructors. He just watches. And when he speaks, men listen harder than they do for anyone else. Out there, Whitfield tells your platoon before you ship out, the jungle doesn't care what side you're on. It'll kill you just as easily as the Japanese will. Maybe easier. Nobody laughs. You're not sure he meant it as a joke. You cross the Pacific aboard a troop transport so packed that men sleep in rotating shifts. The crossing takes weeks. Rumors move through the ship faster than any official word. Some say you're headed for the Philippines. Some say Australia. Nobody actually knows, and the not knowing becomes its own kind of exhausting. A low hum of dread that never fully goes away. Danny plays the harmonica low at night, songs half remembered, poorly tuned, strangely comforting. He teaches you 3 chords one afternoon, guiding your fingers over the holes. "You've got the enthusiasm of a dying goose," he tells you, grinning. You write to Dorothy twice during the crossing, though you're told not to mention direction or destination. Older sailors go quiet whenever the words Coral Sea come up in conversation.
We have to be careful now.
You land on Guadalcanal in August of 1942, and the first thing you notice isn't the danger, it's the heat. The beach is quiet when you land, deceptively quiet, palm trees swaying like nothing could go wrong here. The air smells of rot before you've even reached the tree line. The landing itself is almost anticlimactic, no resistance waiting at the water's edge. Whitfield doesn't trust the quiet. Quiet means they're deciding when, he says. He moves your squad off the open sand fast. Danny voices it before you do. Feels like we're crashing a party nobody's at yet. You spend your first days building the perimeter, cutting fields of fire through undergrowth, stringing what wire you have across gaps in the line that feel too wide to ever be properly covered. The engineers work day and night finishing the airfield. Machetes dull within hours in the thick undergrowth. Rain falls almost every afternoon, turning your foxhole into a shallow pool you sit in for hours. You develop sores between your toes that Whitfield calls jungle rot. Boots rotting slowly inside soaked socks that never fully dry. There's nothing else to do about it, he tells you. Food arrives late or not at all. You eat captured rice when supply lines fail. Danny jokes that he's finally found a diet Dorothy would approve of. You don't laugh, but you almost do. On Guadalcanal, almost laughing counts as a victory. The insects are a war of their own. Mosquitoes thick enough to feel like rain against your neck at dusk. Leeches attach themselves during river crossings, burned off with the ember of a cigarette. Dorothy's handwriting becomes something you study like scripture, searching each line for whatever isn't said. She never asks what it's like where you are. You understand it's its own kind of mercy. You learn to sleep in fragments, waking at every unfamiliar sound, rifle already gripped. You catch yourself once, waking with your finger tightening on the trigger before your eyes even focus. Whitfield finds you shaking afterward and doesn't report it. He just switches watches with you. At night, the Japanese use the darkness the way you use daylight, moving, probing, testing the edges of your line. You learn to sleep in fragments, waking at every unfamiliar sound, rifle already gripped before you understand why. Danny starts sleeping with the harmonica pressed against his chest, like it might do something a rifle can't. In September, your position comes under fire along a stretch of jungle, later called Bloody Ridge. The Japanese come at it in waves, screaming as they charge, artillery lighting the ridge in bursts. You fire until your rifle barrel is too hot to touch, loading and firing on instinct alone. Whitfield moves along the line under fire, checking positions, redistributing ammunition, pulling wounded men back. Danny shoves you sideways into the mud half a second before the grenade detonates. He just grins at you through the smoke, teeth bright against his blackened face. The attack breaks before dawn. The Marines hold the ridge. In the gray light afterward, you walk past bodies scattered across the slope. A chaplain moves among the wounded, offering words that seem too small for what they're holding. Whitfield stands at the edge of the position, staring down into the valley where the attack came from. Danny sits nearby, cleaning his rifle with hands that won't quite stop trembling. Some mornings don't have words that fit them. The fighting on Guadalcanal doesn't end with one ridge. It grinds forward through weeks that blur together. Malaria spreads through the ranks faster than wounds do. You watch strong men reduced to shaking husks within days, skin yellowing, unable to hold a rifle steady. Whitfield gets it in October and refuses to be evacuated. A fever of 104 finally makes the decision for him. He's carried out on a stretcher, still trying to give orders through cracked, trembling lips. Nobody around you says much as the stretcher disappears down the path. He's gone for 11 days. You count everyone. Command of the squad falls to a corporal who's competent but not Whitfield. Danny keeps up a running commentary meant to fill the gap. Jokes about anything that isn't the silence. You start to understand that Danny's jokes were never really about being funny. Danny keeps you upright during those weeks the way Whitfield kept the platoon upright before. He talks about Pittsburgh, about a girl he hasn't written to in months. You talk about Dorothy, about the loose porch step, about small, ordinary things. Your squad is sent on a patrol along a river the maps call Matanikau. The jungle here is thicker, the visibility worse. Every shadow a possible ambush. You cross the river in the early afternoon, water up to your chest, rifles held overhead. The ambush comes from the tree line the moment the last man reaches the far bank. Machine gun fire rakes across the water and mud, and men scatter for cover. You dive behind a fallen log, Danny beside you, both of you firing back. A Marine 2 positions down goes still mid-sentence, cut off before you understand what happened. You fire at the flare, not the man behind it, because the man is never actually visible. Somewhere to your left, a Marine screams for a corpsman. A runner is sent back for reinforcements, disappearing into the jungle at a dead sprint. Danny reloads beside you, hands steady despite everything. Then a mortar round lands closer than the others, and the world goes white and silent. Your hearing returns in pieces. You're lying on your back, ears screaming, dirt in your mouth. You crawl to him. There's blood, more than you've ever seen come from one person. You press your hands against the wound, uselessly, desperately, the way every man does. He reaches into his jacket and you think he's reaching for a weapon, but it's the harmonica. Don't let it go quiet, he says. His hand goes slack around yours, still holding the harmonica between your fingers and his. The reinforcements arrive 20 minutes later, and the Japanese position is finally silenced. You carry Danny back across the river yourself, refusing to let go of him. He finds you sitting outside your tent that evening, harmonica turning slowly in your hands. By the time you're pulled off the island in early 1943, you've lost count of how many names you no longer say out loud. Soldiers wade ashore onto another Pacific Island beach. You survive Guadalcanal, survive what comes after. Whitfield survives too, though something in him stays behind on that ridge permanently. The war ends in August of 1945. You return to Fresno that autumn, thinner, quieter, carrying a duffel bag and a harmonica that has never once been played. Towns pass outside the window, ordinary and untouched. Dorothy is waiting at the station, older in the way that waiting ages a person. She just holds you for a long time on the platform. Your mother is there too, smaller than you remembered, gripping your arm. You marry Dorothy the following spring. You take over your uncle's store the year after that. You fix the porch step within the first month home. A car backfiring on Main Street sends you halfway to the floor. Dorothy learns not to ask why, learns instead to simply wait beside you. You write to Whitfield twice after the war. He settles in Oregon, runs a hardware store not unlike your own. You raise 2 children who grow up knowing their father fought in the Pacific. The harmonica sits in a drawer in your bedroom for decades. Your son finds it once as a teenager, asks what it is. You are 78 years old when your granddaughter finds the harmonica. You watch her bring it to her lips. You sit very still and let the sound fill the room, imperfect and alive. It's kind of bad, she laughs. Was your friend any good at this? You almost tell her no. Instead, you tell her he was exactly good enough.